Good morning, guys and girls. I hope you're doing well this morning. Hope you're doing well this morning. And it's a beautiful day outside.
Good morning.
And we are here live and in color. Live and in color. Laverne is the early bird. Is she the early bird? Somebody else is the early bird. James Dixon is the
Yeah.
early bird. Vern came in right after. All right. We're live on. You see me looking around because I'm checking things out here, but we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, whatever that is. Trying to just get on all of these different platforms. But good morning to you guys. Hello, Dee Dee and George. And let's see who else. And I'm not sure who this young lady is or young man, but let us know who
What
you
is it?
are
Which one?
and where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Adele. And I always forget to put you guys' names up here.
Dale, Dale, Dale.
Good morning, Sister Pearl. And there's Leslie. Hey, sweetie, how are
Good
you?
to hear from you, Miss
Pat.
Leslie.
And there comes John Greason.
That's Dr. John.
Hello, CJ. Good
Dr.
morning.
CJ.
Good morning, Pat. There's Brother Kessler.
Ooh, Mr. Kessler.
Hello, Brother Kessler. Hey, my sissy and brother-in-law. You need to call me, girl. I didn't call you. I was waiting to see if you're going to call me. Hey, Apostle Norman. Good morning to all of you guys in South Carolina and North Carolina and wherever else you're coming from.
And Mr. Gerald and Joe.
And there's Joe coming in and Gerald. Good morning to you guys. Good morning. Good morning to you, Iona.
Okay.
Yeah, come on in the house.
Miss Judy.
Come on in the house. Hey, Miss Judy. Judy,
Good to see
Judy.
all you guys. You guys rolling out there today. Wonder why you want to come in on here like this and just take over. Y'all just take over everything. I'm telling you, just come on in here and put your name up there and get a picture beside him. Say, this is me.
And here comes Clay. Hey, Clay, down there in
Mm.
South Carolina. Blessings to
Clay,
you as
was that the
well.
one that sent me a message last week?
He's down there in Loris.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he did. I
He's
can
been on here
confirm
with
that.
us. Hey,
But
Jill
I've been
Jill.
intending to get back in touch with him. I thought it did. I thought it was. Well, I don't know.
No, but he's been on here with us.
Mhm.
He's down there with
Yeah, and this guy I
Grace.
was down there
Down
with
there at Grace. Yeah.
Grace,
Yeah.
Owen Johnson,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Judy, and all Troy Sims,
Yeah.
all of them. Oh
Yeah. I
Lord,
think Brother Green was down there the other week.
yeah, he
Yeah, he was
was.
there. Yeah.
But that's the one I think I saw a note on it about
Right.
a word from the
Right.
Lord.
Yeah. Hey, Sister Chris. She always comes in as Cornerstone Life Center. Hey.
Hello, Miss Chris J.
And that was Clay. He said it was me.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to you about
I
Clay.
always try to get him my honey pie to look here on the screen for the
Hmm.
comments because I put them up there real big for him, but he
Oh,
tends to try to see all the little ones coming in on the side. But that you can leave that one to me, so you don't have to try to struggle with that.
okay.
But anyway, I'm glad you guys are in here with us today, and it's a wonderful day to be here. I'm just checking to make sure I didn't miss anyone. I put something on the screen that I was dealing with this morning. I was wondering, I had a question going through me, and I'm kind of just jumping into what I'm thinking about, I think. But I had a question going through me. Good morning, Oliver and
Okay.
Yolanda. Good morning, sweetheart, and Sharon. Good morning to you, sweetie. So
Okay.
I had this, well, actually, two things going through me. One was this: the question was asked, are you trying to love or are you trying to be loved?
Mm.
That question was rolling over in me this morning. Am I
Hmm.
trying to love or am I trying to be loved? And in all honesty, if I answer it with an honest answer, I would say most of the time I have been trying to be loved.
Hmm.
And when I'm trying to be loved, I tend to suffer more
Hmm.
because in trying to be loved, you look to other people and expectations, and You place expectations on them, and it causes upheavals in your relationships, upheavals in your own emotions. And then I was dealing with this too. How do you process negative emotions? Because they come, and for me, I have in the past, I have habitually suppressed most of the negative emotions instead of really processing them and coming to a place of surrender. So, those two questions, just hold on to those for a moment, and I'm going to do a meditation. It's a really quick one, so it won't take us long to do it. But I want you to just center in. If you're busy, I'd like for you to stop for just a moment and let's quieten yourself down enough to focus on where God is, and more than that, to focus and center in on where you are, apart from your body and apart from your mind. And I want you to just take a deep breath in and release everything that you've been concerned about. Let it all go. Let it all go. Everything, even getting something out of this broadcast, let that go. Even what you're going to do this afternoon, let that go. What you're going to eat for dinner, let that go. Whether you had a good night's sleep or not a good night's sleep, let that go. I want you to just completely, if you can, go to zero, where nothing else matters, nothing else is important in this moment. Nothing but the realization of who and what you are. So I want you to repeat after me. I give thanks to thee, O God, for my existence, for your presence, for this awareness, for the awareness of my existence. And I surrender the illusion of being a personal self.
Mm.
And I want you to say this as well. I welcome all that life has brought to me and all that it will bring in the future. I surrender the illusion of being a personal self. I welcome all that life has brought to me and all that it will bring in the future. I surrender the illusion of being a personal self. I want you to open your arms wide open like this. It's open your, as a symbol of opening up your heart. And say, I welcome all that life has brought to me and all that it will bring in the future. I surrender the illusion of being a personal self. And so it is. And so it is. All right, that's what's been running through me this morning. And I hope it helps some of you if it resonates with you. Um, I do know this, and I don't want to stop you if you have something you want to say.
Yeah.
Share quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I do know this. I came to the point of how to process negative feelings, and we talked about this on yesterday. How that we have this misconception that when one is enlightened, one has had the self realization of who they are. We have this misconception that then they have no periods of meltdowns. But I want to explain that there are always going to be meltdowns, reactions, emotions that stir and come to the surface and actually explode because there are identities that are resisting what life has brought to it. When those identities resist what life has brought to it, and it can't handle it or it doesn't want to handle it, the identity that is not you, it will try by figuring out what to do. It will then go through a process of how do I fix this? It will then go through the process of how can I get away from this? And the resistance builds as those of us who are what I call mostly awake try to act out the way we're supposed to as a spiritual being and suppressing those negative emotions. At some point, the resistance is going to get stronger as we suppress those emotions. And when we have reached that boiling point and there is an explosion, it's the you've heard the adage of the straw that broke the camel's back. The camel obviously is overburdened. He's overloaded. But then there's one little straw that's put on there, and it may not even be anything significant, anything big or anything major, just one little teeny thing. And all of a sudden the whole thing collapses. But what collapses is that false identity that's trying to deal with what life has presented to it. And it can't live under the burden, it can't carry it. Then there's the explosion, which is the straw that broke the camel's back. And then, after the explosion and the identity collapses, there is peace and acceptance of what is being presented. I hope that makes sense. Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Does it?
Mm-hmm. Now, put your ears on, tighten up on your safety belt. I'm going to say some things to you that the mind is going to say crazy things about what I'm going to say because it's going to be very simple, but it's going to go directly to the point. In weightlifting and bodybuilding, when you start out or you take a break from it and come back, the issue of cleaning up becomes a subject. I didn't know they called it that. When you clean up, it's called dealing with all the fat or the stuff on your body that's not muscle.
Almost like a detox?
Yeah, it's a detox, but it's a detox of your mind as well as your potential to see yourself in another way.
Hmm.
Each bodybuilder that I studied, I need to say this to you because when I went after this, before I even knew her or you guys out there in the physical realm, I did everything that I know that I felt that they did, and I thought everything they were doing was from naturally eating. But there's one thing that came out to me when I did find out the truth was that I was determined to get like them or look like them
Mhm.
without taking nothing but protein. But as I got older, I had over the years I had invested a lot of time, telephone calls, and traveling to find out more about these bodybuilders and what they did. It's the same way I did with the church, or either with being saved and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
My inquisitioning toward the weightlifting and bodybuilding brought me uh, four state championship in Olympic lifting and all that other stuff. And then, as I said I wasn't going to ever quit, but as I got older, I grew out of the desire.
Well, your interest
It has
changed.
changed. That's right.
Mhm. Your interest changed.
I met some of the most amazing creatures out there. I talked to the Mr. Olympia guy on the phone with his, his lady friend, and it's always been like that. But I never thought that when I started that, I was about, well, shucks, I was 14, 13 when I started, 14, 15, and 16. I got up in it, and I didn't have a car, and I walked everywhere, and I rode the bus. But that was my image that I had. And on the wall in the front room where I lived, I had pictures of different bodybuilders on the wall. And what I
Yeah.
was going to do was look at one of them, pick one out, and I'm going to make myself the 26-inch waist, which I already had.
Because you weren't a big guy.
No, no,
You
I
were
really
you were
wasn't.
only 5'6",
Five,
and
6, and I
you
weighed,
just weren't a big guy.
yeah, I weighed about 98 pounds, 100 pounds, something like that.
But after your weightlifting, you did become buff. You were buff.
Yeah, it took a long time for me to
Mhm.
get that book, but here's what happened when
But
I.
it started from a self-image of feeling small, did it not?
Hmm.
Hmm.
And I wanted to do something that the rest of the guys hadn't done, and I'm basing it on pictures. Well, as I began to investigate, wisdom began to show me that just eating ham and chicken and protein food is not enough.
Hmm.
But I kept contacting these guys and talking to them, and I look at them in the magazine. I had magazines stacked from day one, that's up to one side of the wall. And when I start waking up from this, I end up giving my magazines away. But now, what the key was,
You
excuse me,
sleepy?
yeah, a little bit. What the key was, and the way they got like that, they went beyond what they were telling me in the book, the pages of the magazine.
Mhm.
I remember the brunette twins, Joe Weider. He was the godfather of bodybuilding out in California.
Mhm.
Um, all of these guys, I see pictures of them when I talk to you, and I run across one young man that was with us in the gym here in North Carolina, and his name was Baker, and he went out to California to see what they was going to do out there, and he was determined to find out the truth, and he found out.
Mhm.
These guys did not get and do not get like you see them on the pictures. Absolutely amazing, but when you see them in person,
Yeah.
it is your chin drop because you can't believe that somebody could just lift weights and get like that. I mean, absolutely miraculous. They what I found out they went on 3 months on and 3 months off of growth hormones,
Mhm.
Dianabol, which is all the drug stuff, and some of them found out how to use a certain kind of oil in their biceps and shoulders to make them grow. They took a lot of growth hormones. And I was one of them I saw. I'm just making it long drawn out so I can tell you from this point of view about who you really are as well as who you're not. So everybody knew me on the place where I lived for that because they constantly see me working out in the front yard on the porch, and the way my clothes were made or fixed, um, at being small, it caused certain parts of my body to accentuate, and that was made basically my arm. And I got pictures of me when I was in my teens,
Mm.
and I was standing on stage in Appalachian College with
Okay.
the guy that came in second place, and I was in second place with him all the way up until I just quit.
Okay, now this story's getting longer and
Yeah, I know,
longer.
but I'm telling you this because I want you to know that in order for these guys to get like that, it shocked me. I remember this, and tell you this right quick. I was in the back of the warm up room, and the guy that mentored me, Mr. King, he came in the room with some big old oily looking capsule. They called it Energol. It was for energy.
Hmm.
He gave that to me.
Was it a steroid or not?
No,
It was just an
just
energy
for energy,
thing, kind of
natural
like an
health food.
energy drink that they
Yeah,
have now.
yeah. It was in a big old capsule, about big as the end of my finger.
It was
I,
probably for horses.
he said, "Here, take this." Well, when he gave me that,
Gary said he remembers when you had those guns.
yeah, that's right, that's right,
And
yeah.
by the way, I remember too, Gary, when he got into his 40s, we were in that large building on Wendover, and he started wearing muscle shirts. You remember that? He
Hmm.
was cute. Now he was cute, but he was trying to
Hmm.
recapture his youth. But
Well, in my late 50s, I stopped, and I really wish now that I had kept on going with it.
yeah, but your point for
My
saying all
point
of
of
that.
this is when I found out the truth of what they were doing, I said, I'm going to try what they're doing.
Hmm.
And when that's amazing. I was able to contact people, and the doctor that I went to was actually encouraging me by giving me some of the stuff, the prescriptions you have to take to get. He gave them to me,
Hmm.
and it did exactly that little blue, little brown pill. I took it. When I was behind stage and I took that big old capsule, I felt like I could take 300 pounds and throw it up and twiddle it around.
That little pill did all
That
that.
little pill did that. Now, what that pill did, we're coming to the brass tacks and nails now. What that little pill did was open up my mind and my insight to see that through that pill, it had what was in that pill was the essence of what it would take to be a Samson or to be highly energetic.
Or the belief that you could be that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And what
Yeah.
I found out with the little pill was that it was made out of. See, all
Mm.
medical prescription is made out of something that we already
That
are.
triggers the
That trigger.
brain.
And
Mm.
what happened? The pill the results of the pill went directly to my subconscious,
Mhm.
which was a download of something that I brought with me and all of you before I came to Earth.
Okay.
That's just the way it is. So when
Yeah.
I went down and grabbed 300 pounds or squat with 1,000 pounds and 130-pound dumbbells
The
in each
little
hand,
pill gave you the
that little pill
confidence.
gave me some kind of idea that I could do all of this.
Mhm.
I
Made
was
you
so,
think beyond your
yeah,
limitations. Yeah.
but I didn't know that what was already in me was a system. In it was it's like, for instance, here's a good example. When you stand up on the oak tree and look down, you see a lot of acorns on the ground. But inside of now watch this now. Inside of this acorn is a subconscious, deliberate program of
Hmm.
the tree that it just
Yeah.
came off.
Yeah.
And see, the acorn is not
In the
ready to
in
be.
and it's in the form of mush
Yeah, it
inside of
is.
that
It is.
acorn. Yes.
Yeah. And another thing I found out that I was operating under the same principle that a caterpillar, not a caterpillar, but a butterfly has to go through.
But caterpillar goes through that.
Caterpillar,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. Become a butterfly.
And all of a sudden, I found out that inside of that caterpillar was the programming,
Yeah.
perfect programming
They call
for a
them
butterfly.
epithelial cells.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that
Hmm.
same principle is what we made out of, for
Hmm.
instance.
But it liquefies everything that the caterpillar was
That's right.
in
That's
order
right.
for it to become a butterfly, which goes back to what I was talking about with the negative emotions. When there is the straw that breaks the camel's back, what what collapses is the false identity because
Hmm.
it couldn't stand the weight of what life is bringing.
Hmm.
It can't stand that
Hmm.
weight.
And it was designed to get in there and make you feel. And when I reached down to grab 250 pounds, a 260 at 148 pounds
Mm-hmm.
class. That's what
Mm-hmm.
it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to lift twice my body weight.
Okay.
The four state champion was one. I did it for years, and I was taking Brother King picked me up one day, and we had a contest in the Alps up in the mountain area,
Appalachia.
Cherokee
Cherokee.
College,
Mm-hmm.
Cherokee Reservation. First time I ever been up there. I didn't get
Okay.
any further than the 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 contest or participating. Every lift that I made, which is three of them, and out of these three, you have at least 10 tries, three tries in each one of those three positions: the press, the snatch, the clean and jerk.
Mm-hmm.
What I did when I come home, now watch this. What I did for my training at home was I took a broomstick and I imagined that broomstick had a certain amount of weight on it. And I was told that form and technique is what you do to lift the weight.
Yesterday
Yeah.
you said something to me, and I don't mean to cut you off, but
Hmm.
I want to remind you of what you said yesterday so that you can maybe go into it a little more.
Hmm.
You said that you were spirit told you
Hmm.
to know don't carnalize anything anymore.
That's right.
Can you tell us what that means?
Okay. All right. Now, okay. Cleaning up, to go back to what I was saying,
Okay.
means that in order for you to get into that place as a winner, you must be cleared of all identity of not being a champ.
Yep.
That's called, in your terminology, what you just said, and then the word decolonize yourself. What's it?
Carnalize.
Carnalize yourself.
Don't put meat on it. I
That's
say,
right. That's
don't put
right.
meat on it. Don't make it a body mind.
Yeah.
Don't make it a personal
Right.
thing.
So what I decided to do was one day I was going to get a 6 foot trophy, and I got all the other ones, not four or five of them.
Hmm.
And as far as the mannerism to get me to this place of being the champ, I was willing. I didn't have no girlfriend, and I didn't believe that you were supposed to have any personal relationship with a girl on the sexual side of it because it takes the strength out of it.
That was the belief, yeah.
And that was true. That is true to a
It
certain
is true
point.
to a point,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
Hmm.
And what I found out what to do is stay away from that. So I went into my first contest with the YMCA for the black folks. And when I was
For the
in,
black
yeah,
folks.
folks,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was back
folks,
in the day
yeah,
when it wasn't integrated, right?
no. And so I went into a lot of places because of Jack King. I said his name, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, he gave me the breakthrough. It's amazing how God picked this man. All I did was go down there to a place in Winston-Salem. I had been to all the places. I went to every place I could find in Winston-Salem to find out to work out, to lift weight 3 times a day. I stayed there and constantly did that. Now, when I met him, I went to the place. I'm telling you this because this is what it's called decolonizing and finding out the truth behind what makes a good winner in weightlifting.
Just in weightlifting.
Yeah, well, the whole program was bodybuilding, weightlifting, because they had Olympic lifting in mixed in with the
So how
bodybuilding.
does this apply to everyone's life?
Okay, okay.
Can you
Now,
bring it back around?
okay. Here's what it was. Jack took up with me involuntarily. He took up with me, and he saw me doing bodybuilding, and that's what I wanted. But he took me against the image that I had and put me into another one. Okay, here we come about Jesus now. And I was the only black guy that ever put his feet in that room upstairs. It was a tennis court, but there was weights all over that place. And I was pulling up 400 or 500 pounds for a deadlift, and I hurt my back. I didn't know that later on down the road that when I sent in the paperwork to the recruiting station in North Carolina, they called me when I was in school to come down to be examined, and they're getting ready to take us in during the time of the Vietnam crisis, Vietnam. So what happened was when I got down to the station where I was supposed to be examined to be indicted into the army, me and this guy, one guy was real heavy, and I'm still a little bitty guy. Matter of fact, I went down there drunk, and
This story gonna be long.
no, it's not gonna be long. But then what happened? They came out, they took everybody else in and swore them in. But me and the little guy, the big guy, sit out there in the lobby waiting for them to call us. And I said, the thought come to me, said, they going home and all they want is just
Just the
me
two
and
of
him.
you.
Now all of this is God. Everything I'm telling you is God. You say, well, even the weightlifting? I said, yes. Because with that, understand this. The favor that God was, I knew nothing about it, but I could look back over it and see how God took me through it.
Yeah.
I met certain people and it opened doors for me. The same way it is with you finding out your true identity as an eternal being. I didn't know that in that weightlifting, I want to hit you now. I didn't know that in my preparation for that, it was an eternal self in me that was coming through me, a eternal superconscious self that was coming through me to be able to do the unusual.
Mm-hmm.
That was a natural thing that was already there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to do anything but just
But it had to be unleashed.
it. Yeah, and it was unleashed.
And the little red pill unleashed part of it because it showed you that it could be done.
Yeah, all of a sudden it
Yeah.
clicked.
Yeah.
Then before I know it, what caused me to be a champ was hanging around the places where watch this now, hanging around the places where there was nobody else in the weightlifting room that looked like me during that time.
Yeah.
And so that inspired me. I'd walk for
So
miles.
you hung around places where you were
I was
inspired.
conditioned for that.
Yeah. The inspiration
Yeah.
is important
Uh-huh.
because if you hang around places where you don't get the
Hmm.
inspiration, you
Hmm.
will lose the interest
That's
and the
right.
focus.
Now in that area, I began to look back over it. All the people that I ran into, God put them in my path
Mm-hmm.
for me to have to go through
Mm-hmm.
certain things. But listen to this. I did not know, just a little nugget,
Mm-hmm.
that I was the Son of God, clothed in a body that didn't, and the mind that didn't quite understand what was going on
Yeah.
in the spirit realm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
And
know.
didn't quite know its own potential.
I didn't.
Yes. So it's like we were talking about this yesterday. I know we just gave you a long spiel about something, but uh, we were talking about this yesterday. It's one thing to discover who you are, but it's a whole different thing when you begin to discover what you're capable of as that.
So now let me give you the definition of what I meant when I say de.
Don't carnalize.
We
Yes.
call it the carnal mind.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hit you now. You hold on tight. If you listen to me on and you're in the restroom and you sitting down and you better put some seatbelts on your
Well,
commode.
go ahead, let it rip, let it rip.
Okay, here it is.
Mm,
I came to a place where I had to believe that I could not see myself as not being the image on the wall.
mhm,
And two of the images that I picked out, one was Steve Reeves, uh, uh, Larry Scott, and any of those guys that won the Mr. Universe and all the way up to the uh, Mr. Olympia. Okay, here we go. Decolonized meaning I could not see and believe myself to be Clifton Sawyer going to school. I had to see.
Or Clifton Sawyer, the one who had not trained, the
That's
one
right.
who did not have the strength.
That's
You
right.
could not see yourself as that one.
Decolonizing in what we're into now. Now here comes. You know, the people say you got to get rid of the carnal mind. You got to change the way you dress to be a preacher. You have to renew your mind through the word and go to church every Sunday. You got to be under a certain preacher that's preaching a certain way, which it does help because I was around a lot of guys that during that time they believed like I did that they didn't have to take anything but natural food. But I found out there's something supernatural of power inside of a capsule or a vitamin that would cause you to trigger your identity being different.
Now,
Okay.
there's a scripture in Ephesians 4:23 where it talks about putting off the old man and putting on
Okay.
the new man,
Okay.
putting off the old man and putting
Okay.
on the new man. And then it
Okay.
says, be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
All right. Here it is. Every one of us that come into this dimension, we did not come here as the after identity of being a baby born at a certain date, place, and time. We didn't come here originally with that mind. It was
Mm-hmm.
there, it was there in us to be born physical and to be your daddy's son or your mother's daughter. Now, let me back up and say it another way. Everybody that comes into this dimension, you bring with you a package deal.
Yeah,
Salvation
a
is
total package.
close to being, salvation is close to tapping into that power. Some people come here that have already tapped into it, and it was based on the many lifetimes of evolution
Mm-hmm.
that they accumulated the image of who they really were, percentage wise.
Yeah.
But when they came each time, each round that they came out of that reincarnation into the world of dimension that will fit around your last achievement, whether you complete it or not. So there are a lot of people that's dying physically in this dimension that caught the COVID, the damn panic or the pandemic. But anyway, they caught it. Some of these people that are about 1,000 that are in this war in the, what's called that place he was at Lou over at the
Ukraine?
yeah, Ukraine. Some of these people and even babies are being murdered in this situation. People are dying by the thousand in the earth. Some of these people will leave this dimension and go over to another location in the dimensional world and begin to live a different life from the last one they came from.
Mm-hmm.
But before either of us come into another dimension, there is a percentage of change that has taken place in that last evolution and then on many numbers down, that when you get to the next one, you have already stepped in and achieved certain things that is going to be used in this present dimension
Mm-hmm.
from your past ones. And there was thousands of times that you came into this world.
Hmm.
You knew all that I'm telling you before you came, and this is the knowing part of me that I found out. Okay, here it is. God was you in every dimension of evolution.
Yeah.
When you came to this dimension, you were still God is with a name Gary Hingleton with the name Apostle Norman or Norman Armstrong or Phyllis Torrance,
Mm-hmm.
Charles Blue.
Mm-hmm.
That is your stage name for this round. You bared many, many other identities, same juice, different cups, and you took up a certain degree of ego
Yeah.
to get you through these
Well,
dimensions.
that's what I was saying. Now that I'm gonna bring it right back around to what I said in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
When we're processing negative emotions,
Yes.
what's what's really happening is an identity is being killed.
Okay.
And I say killed because once it collapses and there is full surrender, that thing is gone.
That's
It's
right.
gone. But it doesn't leave peacefully.
No, 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 no.
Doesn't leave peacefully.
Mm-mm.
For you to be the butterfly, everything that was the
Mm-hmm.
caterpillar
Mm-hmm.
has to go.
Mm-hmm.
And the caterpillar will never fly.
That's
It
right.
will never
That's right.
fly.
It won't do it.
So there is a you that you
Uh-oh.
believe
That's
you are that will never fly.
mm.
That one will collapse
Mm-hmm.
if you stay true to your path. That one will collapse because I'll say it like this: God will put his finger on it, and when he puts his finger on it, he said, "This one's got to go."
Mm-hmm.
And when that one's got to go, there will be a major resistance that will come up, or a situation that will come up in your life that it cannot handle.
Okay.
And when it is put under the pressure, it will fail.
Mm-hmm.
You'll feel like you're failing, but it won't be you failing. It will only be it
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
cannot carry the burden of this
Mm-hmm.
life. And it will collapse. When it collapses, there will be a you that emerges like the butterfly.
There
There's
you
a
go.
you that
Like
emerges
the acorn on the
that
old
can
tree.
fly above the
Mm-hmm.
problems and the suffering. And when it takes off, it can still see the suffering.
Mm-hmm.
It can even feel the experience of the suffering in the
Mm-hmm.
body. It can still see how it is trying to destroy or take you down, but it won't ever be able to take you down because you will transcend, you will ascend
Mm-hmm.
above it.
Now, I found out 50 some years later that what I had tapped into was my superconscious self.
Yeah.
Finding
And
out,
you didn't really tap it, but you left the one that was not it.
okay, now I'm going to back up and say it another way, different, even what we
Okay.
said. Jesus Christ were you and you were him from the very beginning of anything in evolution or whatsoever. Now, here's what happened. When you went to school, first grade, second grade, on way through, your mind was completely blocking out who you were by contract.
What do you mean by that?
You were supposed to come here and give up all your glory to appear on this earth on a birth certificate with your name, Alicia Peoples, Marlon Jones, Charles Blue, Deborah Rondo. They are all
Mm-hmm.
fictitious
Yes,
identities.
they're characters,
That's right.
avatars.
That's right. That's right. So here's what happened. I saw God. Now here's the clue to this releasing or removing from carnal carnal mind.
From being putting meat on it.
Yeah. Okay. It was Jesus that woke up inside of your body as your birth certificate name. It
Mm,
was
mm.
Jesus that woke up to being his original self in this dimension.
Yes, yes. Can I read another scripture?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wow, I'm about to pop. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop. This is in Ephesians. This is a prayer. I think it was Paul's prayer. Those of you who are Bible scholars, you may know better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
He said this in his prayer.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm.
He said, this is his prayer. I cease not to give thanks for you, making mention of you in my prayers. This is what he
Mm-hmm.
says in his prayer. That the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, may give unto you the spirit of wisdom
Mm-hmm.
and revelation in the
Mm.
knowledge of him.
And the knowledge of finding out who you really are as
Yes,
him,
yes. The eyes of your understanding being enlightened
your mind wakes up to the truth
of who you are.
as
Yes,
an eternal being.
yes. That you may know what is the hope of his calling and what the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints and
Mm-hmm.
what is, you
Mm-hmm.
got something you want to say?
In the saints, you're going to find out that you are them in spirit and they are you
Mm-hmm,
in spirit.
mm-hmm. And what is the exceeding greatness of his power to
Power.
usward who believe, according to the working of his mighty power, which he wrought in Christ when he raised him from the dead. This is the point. What you're saying is there is something being raised from the dead here
Mm-hmm. That's right.
in your life. There,
Mm-hmm.
in this life, there is something being raised from the dead and set him at his own right hand in the heavenly places, far, far above all principality and power. You are not on the level of dark energies. You are not on the level of Satan. You are not on the level of evil. You are far above all principality and power and might and dominion and every name that is named. You are far above. You are no longer the caterpillar. You are the butterfly. But some of us are still living as caterpillars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that caterpillar is going to collapse and dissolve, my darling. You,
Mm-hmm.
as a caterpillar, will never fly.
It
You,
has
you as that limited self that you believe you are, will never be able to handle
never.
the things that are presented to you in this life realm, in this earth realm. You must allow it to die.
Okay. Here it is. You find out the source of God in evolution, many thousands of them. Now, here it is. You were the Christ before anything terminology wise as being born again, filled with the Spirit. Cleaning up is, here it is, cleaning up is,
Cleaning up.
losing carnality is, finding out that the whole part of you, spirit, soul, and body,
Mhm.
and
Not
mind,
just spirit.
that's right, you're going to find a transformation that says to your conscious God identity, it is time for you. And all of this is Jesus Christ in you
Yes,
that
yes, yes,
misplaced as spirit misplaces identity deliberately by coming into this dimension and
yes.
then deliberately finding out that he has always been us from the very beginning.
There's a oneness takeover. Type that in. There is a oneness takeover.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
that oneness takeover isn't finished
That's right.
until you see your spirit, soul, and body
That's
as
right.
God. Not
Mm-hmm,
just spirit,
mm-hmm.
because then that's still separated. Because you don't believe most of the time that you're spirit. You think you're most your body and mind. So all parts of aspects of you must be brought into the oneness.
I was told that there would be no evil, no Satan, or sin if, and sin is called, it's not, the definition of sin is totally different than
It's
my I
not
understood.
deeds.
No, it's
It's
not
not
that.
deeds.
You were always have been a son and daughter of God. But here's what we say: born in sin and shaped in iniquity from my mother's womb. Let me
Mhm.
explain that to you. That's true. That's true for the mind
Mm-hmm.
that has been
Yes.
locked into
Yes.
that.
Yes.
None of that is true. I don't care what you say you find in the book. If it's talking about it, it's talking about it from the standpoint of your low monkey mind.
What we're saying is you got to take the leap
That's right. That's
to
what the butt
dare to
caterpillar had to do there.
dare to think of yourself as the Father. That's what Jesus did.
And
Think
you,
of yourself as a father, not as I'm not talking about the limited self trying to pull itself up to by its own bootstraps to be the father. I'm talking about allowing that limited concept of yourself to collapse
mhm.
so that the father that is already there will emerge.
Now the cleanup is this. The cleanup is you deliberately seeing an awareness of being all God
That's
with carnality or without it,
yeah,
with the definition of sin or without it,
yep,
with the power of ego, all of
yep.
that. You
With
created these bodies before you could get in them.
with with the false identity still acting out, and it is just an illusory self that is being shed. So it doesn't change what you are at all. So the oneness is already really taken over. But what's happening is the mind is coming into an awareness that this is the truth.
Mhm.
This is the truth, and not what I've always believed.
When it said in Genesis, the voice of God walked in the cool of the evening.
Mhm.
And watch this. I'm giving you two sides to Adam and two sides to us in just a brief little notice here. I wondered, he said, the voice of God.
Hmm.
Didn't say Jesus, didn't say
Right.
God, said the
Said
voice of God.
the voice of God.
Who was that voice?
Mhm.
All right. Yeah.
What was
All
that
right, here it
voice?
is. The voice, I'm going to jump clean on over being separate. The voice was you back in Genesis as the God identity, the creator. When you, as the voice, came to Adam, it was you that was Adam and the voice that walked in the cool of the garden.
Was the voice outside of Adam?
No, it was not.
So as
He was made out of the voice.
so as
He was the
so
voice.
as Adam went to the garden every evening,
Mm-hmm.
there was the voice that was
Mm-hmm.
speaking inside of Adam.
Mm-hmm. In beingness,
And the thing is, he could still hear the voice
yeah,
even after uh,
yes,
even
yes,
after they had
yes.
eaten of the forbidden fruit. He
Men,
could still hear the voice.
yeah, Enoch, Noah, all of them. The Lord God, okay, watch this. The voice that spoke to Noah said, build the ark. The voice that told, that drove, the being that drove um, uh, uh, Adam and Eve from the garden,
Mhm.
and the one that was the shield to protect it. What was over the shield is metaphorically speaking, the shield was a block in their mind.
That's it. That's the that I was about to say. When did we lose contact with the voice that's already inside of us?
The voice and the block was there, but it was there because listen to this. It said the angel guarded the entrance to the garden,
Hmm.
and if they went past that angel, they would have to die.
Yep, there would be a
There
death.
would be a penalty. What is the penalty? First of all, you were Christ when you walked as a voice.
Mhm.
Second of all, you were Eve inside of the Adam body made of dirt. You were the one, watch this, you were the one that took the dirt and shaped it into your image identity of yourself as the voice of God. Inclusive is inside of Adam was the Holy Spirit. Let's say
Mhm.
his wife Eve. She was the female side of the male side. That's the reason why when she was taken, not born, Eve was not born, she was taken from him. Like, what would it be like if you take that cup of water and you freeze it and to be an ice and you fix it where you can get the ice out of it? You taking that ice out of the cup, but the ice is still water. It's just
Mhm.
in a
It's still H2O.
it's in a preliminary time of being made solid.
Yeah.
God, as us, temporarily is the solid portion of Him in these bodies. Our bodies, I'm getting rid of the carnality now, with or without being born in sin, you have always been in each one of the bodies that you reincarnated in. You were the solidity, the solid portion of
Yes,
God
yes, yes, yes,
in solid form.
yes.
And that has not changed. But what blocked it out, there was a programming that was in there to block it out
Hmm.
so that you would not fully operate in your potential until again the new birth experience or waking up until you woke up. But you have to wake up in fullness to get back to heaven to stay.
Yeah.
People don't understand. There are different
And it's
degrees of heaven.
it's an inner journey. It is not an
First,
outer
second,
journey.
third, fifth, sixth heaven.
It's an inner journey, not an outer journey.
There's a dimensional awareness inside of you that has always been super being.
What's inside of these bodies and minds is larger than these bodies and minds.
You got out of yourself, went into yourself, and never lost an ounce of your God identity.
I just saw it. It's
Mhm.
like we turned inside out,
Mhm.
like a t-shirt that you
That's
put on
right.
backwards.
That's right. That's right.
And now we're being rewound back to our originality.
And all you did when you came into this dimension, well, this time you changed suits. But you also took on the responsibility when you came here that when you get here, you're not going to know who you really are. And the
Yeah,
programmer
yeah,
said you must find out.
yeah.
Everybody eventually gonna find out when this thing is over that they are and have always been a son and daughter of God, mostly son.
Actually, son,
Yeah,
one son
yeah.
believing it's many.
When Adam
Um,
woke up out of the coma, God was the first one that created the comatose identity. That is, when you woke up, when you got up, you were awake. But when you finally did something in your mind thinking to bring you into shutdown, you failed. You failed from being your true self.
yes, 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 yes. Pearl says this. What if that meant I was born in the misidentification of who I am
Thank you.
and formed in my mother's perceptions?
Thank you. Whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa. Look out there.
yeah.
You're going to make something pop.
Let us
I'm telling
know.
you, it's the truth.
Let us know if you're getting this. Let us know if you're getting this.
That's right. Now let's go heavy into it.
No, gosh, we only got a minute.
Okay. Demons and Satan and the dark world was created by you when you came into this world called physicality. You brought with you certain things in the list, like a bucket list, that you were going to determine to overcome after being here. And one of them
Mhm,
was here it is.
mhm,
One of them was the
mhm,
loss of memory
mhm.
of who you were before you sinned or failed in Adam and any other way. But here's what the clue is. The clue is your fall or your falling had nothing to do with smoking, dipping, and chewing, cussing and doing it, everything, and with everybody around you.
It had to
The
do with
fall was
you.
you was falsely replaced by another ideal. You see, you are so super that you even charge the natural.
I know.
You
I
are
know.
supernatural.
Mhm.
You were and always have been the voice of God, and everything that you looked at around you, you gave it a name in the
Mhm.
garden.
Mhm.
You were the one that divided the darkness from the light.
And get this, and I know our time is up, but
Well, we're gonna
listen,
talk about it some
yeah,
more.
but it's good. We
Tell,
we we preaching to ourselves. Well, I will, I
okay,
will, I will.
yeah, go
But
ahead.
remember this: there is, and I told the family this yesterday, but there is absolutely nothing working against you.
That's right. Nothing but the
I'm gonna
lie.
say it again. I don't care how bad it looks.
The lie.
There is absolutely nothing working against you. There is only
Yeah.
there is only the presenting of
Hmm.
situations
Hmm.
in your life that the false identity
Hmm.
cannot handle, and in that situation is a message.
Yep.
There are only messages coming to you. There is nothing ever against you.
You are inside these bodies fully with a sleeping memory, waking up
Mhm.
to your true self that you've always been. But before then, you got to get past everything that you've been uh, supposedly naturally born as evil. You got to get past that. You got to get past.
Don't put meat on it.
Don't put meat on it. You.
There there
That's
there
right.
is no meat on you.
That's right.
You are not made of meat. You are not made of thoughts. You are not made of feelings. That is not you.
Now we could go down a whole list of
I
things,
know, but we gotta
and we
stop.
don't, we can't. But
I
I want you
know,
to
I
know this.
know, I know.
This is what I discovered about my true identity. And if you and see another one of the things that was put in your false identity is that you can't believe who you are unless you find it in the Bible.
Well, the you that can't believe it is the you that's gonna collapse.
That's
Now,
right.
now we
That's
gotta
right.
quit.
Okay.
And in answer to Gary's question, Gary, we're always recorded. Everything we've ever said is on YouTube.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's on YouTube under Cornerstone Life Center. It's on
Hmm.
Facebook under
Hmm.
Cornerstone Life Center. So yes, it's always recorded, baby. Always recorded. So you don't have
You,
to worry about hearing it again. You can go back and hear it over and over and over, over and over and
here's
over.
what I say to and this briefly saying. When I did weddings for people, I had them to kneel and take the communion with each other there. And I tell each one of them to look back and forth at yourself. I said, this is the last time you will see yourself as two, even though
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
illusion story is
Mm-hmm.
two, but it's really one. And I said, this is the last time you're going to be able to do I always said it last time, but you may go a second time of marriage. I don't see any problem with it. It depends
Right,
on
right,
what
right.
what has to be set up for this to happen. But anyway,
Yeah.
my
Now,
point is
now
that
listen. I got
when
we
you
got to stop, boo.
right
We
quick,
got to stop.
when you saluted each other with a kiss, it was the same thing that God did to the flesh and body, the dirt body that you wore called Adam. He put his mouth against your mouth and breathed and blew himself into the identity of the whole man called Adam.
Yeah. Now, don't
We're gonna
start another
stop.
one now.
No, we're
Don't
gonna
start
stop.
another
We're
one.
gonna stop.
Because I know some of you are really raring to give this morning. You're raring to give and you're ready to hit that button right now. And I'm going to let you do it. Take this time to do that right now. You can do that. Jill has already posted it in the comment section. If you're on Facebook, you should be able to get to a link that will help you to donate. If you're on YouTube, there should be in the description a link to donate. So you have no reason to wait. You can do it right now. And if you don't use online giving, then you can do mail. You can mail it to P.O. Box 36259 in Greensboro. That's 27416 is the zip. And you can bless Pastor and I with Cash App, which is $A Sawyer C. And so we're just excited about what we're discovering.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God you guys are on the journey with us
Mm-hmm.
and listening and benefiting hopefully from our
Mm-hmm.
discoveries. So we're not here to convince you of anything, but we're here to just make sure we convey to you everything that we're discovering. And this is our walk, our daily walk, isn't it?
It is.
And
It
now,
is.
by the way, Thursday, and I'm going to have to post this so that everyone who frequents our Thursday afternoon session with Pastor Norman. We're going to cancel that this week because we are going to be doing the Zoom on Thursday night at 7, where Pastor's going to take you into his prayer closet and talk about the nitty gritty of mystical praying and praying the mysteries. And some of you guys who've been with us for years, you've heard it before, but you're going to hear some stuff that's new. So you have to register for it. I posted that on Facebook as well, and I sent out emails. So those of you who have your emails already given to us, check your email. If you haven't already registered, you need to do that because the space is limited to 100, and it's climbing already. Some of you have already registered. A lot of you have already registered. So make sure you hurry up and get in. And if I get more than 100 people, I'll have to expand the room for Zoom, okay? But right now it's still open. Go ahead and register for that. It's also on Facebook. That link for that is in Facebook as well. So you don't have to not register. You can just go ahead and do that. So I just want to remind you of that. No impromptu on Thursday at 12:30. No impromptu, but we'll be back with you on Thursday night at 7 for the praying of the mysteries.
I'm going to take you into my closet and show you exactly what I do in that moment in the closet.
Mhm,
Being already all of you,
mhm.
when I get in there, I get a chance to show you what living prayer looks like.
Yeah.
Now, I may bring up some things that I didn't
And
say today,
and
but
prayer beyond the mind.
beyond the mind. If you're going to continue to walk this thing, you're going to have to be willing to admit there was the divine part of you that created darkness for a chance to break through. There's a
Mhm,
part of you that created the image of being separated for
mhm,
breakthrough.
mhm,
There's a part of you that goes around telling everybody everything that we talked about in this lesson that you created too, because you also created the repercussion that's going to come from others back to
mhm,
you.
mhm.
So that means you can do it one or two ways. You can die telling it, die holding on to it, or die keeping your mouth shut and only talk about it with certain people. Now I know that some of you listen to me now. Your name didn't come up, but now I would advise you to eat the hay and leave the sticks.
Okay. And listen, the Zoom is free. We're not charging for it. So it's only gonna last an hour, probably hour 15 minutes. So don't be late. If you're late, you might miss it.
But if
So
you happen to bring $50, I'll take it. It don't matter. Whatever you see, I'm not gonna hold this
if
back from
well,
you
let's say it like
just
that's
because
right.
I
That's right.
need the extra funds. I'm not gonna hold it on you. That's another thing that we created too, is holding out because we can get what we want. But in your eternal
Mhm.
self, you don't hold out anything. Right there where you're sitting, you ain't held out on nothing. You just all of God with or without dirt.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
well, I'm through.
He'd get on his soapbox. We'll be here forever. But
Mm-mm.
by the way, what he said is true. We've begun to understand what our value is, the two of us. And you're getting messages that people pay thousands of dollars for, and
That's right.
you're getting it absolutely free.
Wait a minute.
So
Can you hold for a second, just for a
yes, sir.
minute?
Yes, sir.
In my research and study, I found out that there were certain black preachers and, of course, Caucasians and all that, who went to foreign countries outside of the United States, outside of the doctrinal side that we condition for, and found out what they were doing in that foreign country and brought the information back over here and made it look like God showed them
Okay.
from over here on this side.
Okay.
No, no, what we're talking about now is the mother load.
Yeah.
We ask you to tune into us on
We'll be back
Thursday
on
at
Tuesday.
7.
Tuesday at 7, and then Thursday at 7
Yeah,
for the
be
Zoom.
both times. You
Hmm.
might get a bunch of it Tuesday night. Who knows? You never know. I don't never know how I'm gonna bring this thing.
You're not gonna bring that
Mm-mm.
Thursday. I
But
mean
I don't
Tuesday
know. I
night.
just whatever is needed, spontaneous. The Spirit shows you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna try to tell you how that works. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna try to get him to contain it until
Okay.
Thursday.
All right. I got it. I got it.
Anyway, we love you guys. We'll be back on Tuesday at 7. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Have a wonderful afternoon on this beautiful Sunday. We love you, and we'll see you next
And
time.
whenever I see you next time, I will say to you who you are. You are Jesus Christ in the form.